I think every brunch needs some kind of a baked good. That's why I'm gonna show you how to make raspberry lemon swirly buns. These are like cinnamon buns, but it's got a fruity twist and therefore fantastic for brunch.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
So we're gonna start off by blooming our yeast, and that means warming up milk ever so slightly. So milk goes into a pan over just a little bit of heat. We'll take our milk, we'll pour it right into our bowl. And now I've got a whole packet of active dry yeast. Yeast loves sugar. So let's get some honey from the packet drawer. This is gonna give us an extra fluffy and airy dough. Just mix this around a little bit. So this is an enriched dough, which means that it uses butter, milk, and eggs, and that gives us a really tender crumb. It's gonna be so good. In the same pan, we're gonna melt some butter. And while that's melting, I'm gonna crack 1 egg into here. The egg is gonna give us extra richness. Mixing up that egg. So I've got some melted butter here, and we're gonna throw that right in also. So I'm gonna add sugar now. Let's get our flour. Mix it in. Finally, just a little bit of salt. So I'll just work this around with my fork. So I've got a pretty shaggy dough right now. I'm gonna start working it with my hands, but first I'm gonna flour my work surface. Get this to come right out, and we'll fold it together, something like that. Pushing my heel in, folding it over, and turning it 90 degrees. It's really starting to come together now. Got our gorgeous dough ball right here. We're gonna put it in this bowl and let it rise. We just gotta make sure it doesn't stick to the bowl, and that means oiling it. So I'm just gonna cover this with a nice clean kitchen towel, and I'm gonna let this rise for an hour. Look at this. Da, 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 da. That's an impressive amount of rising that's done, and it already smells good too. Let's fold it on the table and roll it out. Get some flour down, all right? And we can just flatten this out with our hands like this. We're gonna roll this into a 12 by 18 rectangle now. You don't need to pull your tape measure out, don't worry. We wanna make a roll here, so we gotta start defining some 90-degree angles. I would say that's pretty good. In a traditional swirly bun, this would be where you put down your cinnamon sugar. But we're gonna change it up and make it a little bit fruity by coming in with some raspberry jam. Looks fantastic. We're gonna get a nice, tight squeeze right here. It's this first roll that's like the most important. That's looking pretty fantastic. So now we gotta cut this up into 12 even-sized pieces. So now these are gonna proof up once again. I'm snuggling these all into the pan, but remember, it's gonna rise again. So they're gonna get even tighter. Just make sure you cover them up real nice so they don't dry out on top. Piggy will keep an eye on them. Look at how gorgeous these are after that second rise. Now all we have to do is bake them for 30 minutes. I mean, these sure do smell great, and my guests are on their way. Woo. I'm gonna let them cool, and now I'm gonna work on my icing. We're gonna start off with some lemon zest and the juice of a lemon. Coming in with some sour cream, some vanilla extract. And now the key to every icing, powdered sugar. Watch how this just dissolves in and creates a gorgeous icing. All right, so I'm using a whisk here just to make this extra smooth. Got a nice icing. Thin enough that it'll pour, thick enough that it'll stick. Let's dig out one of these buns and ice it up. Ooh, coming up and out. Our lemon icing. It's a nice idea to hit this with some fresh raspberries so people know what's on the inside. And there we have it, a raspberry and lemony swirly bun. It looks very inviting. It smells fantastic. I love this glossy glaze. And at 55 cents, there's no reason that you shouldn't have this at your next brunch. I can't wait to taste it. Wow, they're fluffy and sweet, and you got that tartness in there from the little bit of raspberry spread, but then even more from that lemony icing. They make me feel so happy. You gotta add this to your brunch spread. Everyone's gonna love them.